This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. We're in the Christmas spirit, everyone. Huh?
Look around.
Beautiful. Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Gifts and everything.
Everything, the poinsettias. Beautiful job, everyone. Beautiful job. All right, let's talk about what you're really talking about. The Harry and Meghan docu-series on Netflix.
Decorations?
Not the decorations, not the poinsettias. How many of you have been watching this on Netflix? Well, now they're out with a new trailer for the second batch of episodes, and it seems like we'll finally hear more details about the couple's beef with the actual royal family. Take a look.
To see this institutional gaslighting.
I wasn't being thrown to the wolves, I was being fed to the wolves.
They were actively recruiting people to disseminate disinformation.
They were happy to lie to protect my brother. They were never willing to tell the truth to protect us.
Wow. So Prince Harry and Meghan are also hitting back at some of the criticism they've received, specifically that the series contradicts the couple's desire for privacy that everyone's talking about. Their spokesperson told the New York Times, quote, their statement announcing their decision to step back mentions nothing about privacy. The tabloid media has created an entirely untrue narrative that permeates press coverage and public opinion. So what do you think about the new trailer and the press's reaction? Miss Stephanie, I would love to go to you. Tell us what you think about it culturally, for your country, and personally for you.
Oh my gosh, well, first of all, that's the first time I've seen the second trailer, and it looks a hell of a lot more juicy than the first half, because the first half bored me to tears, I'm not going to lie. I was expecting them to really, they didn't give us receipts, but they've got them now. So they've come back saying, we didn't ask for privacy, which I'll be honest, I was really slating them for. I was saying they want privacy, but then they've sold out to Netflix, but now they've proven that was another lie by the British tabloids, which we all know are horrendous, and I fully support Harry's decision and Meghan's decision for leaving, absolutely. But I'll be honest, the first three were like such a snooze fest. It's a beautiful love story. We see their kids. It's beautiful. I'm so glad they've got this new life. But I'm like, when are you going to get to the nitty-gritty details? When are you going to tell us who is this racist person in the royal family? We want to know.
Yeah, I mean, you sound like people like during the first season of any really good series. The first like 5 or 6 episodes are meant to set up the characters.
That's a good point.
You have to care about the characters first. The first 3 episodes of The Wire are like almost unwatchable. But like you have to like care that these people exist and know they have a life and a spouse, and then you can get into their lives. So
that makes sense.
It makes sense that now here it's getting a little juicy. Lindsay, what do you think?
I think as somebody like outside looking in, like I didn't follow the royal family very closely in my life, and so when this docuseries came out, I'm like, okay, well, this is explaining everything, just like The Crown was, because you know all this stuff. So that's why them telling, okay, here's how my day looks when I left
I think
the royal
it's
family.
very skewed to an American audience that isn't as familiar, for sure.
Right, so for me, everything is like, oh my gosh, showing old video of Diana. You've probably seen that a million times or heard about that video. For me, this is the first exclusive. I think it's just two different perspectives of, for me, I needed that setup, and now I'm super excited for what comes next.
You're invested.
Right.
Let me ask you this, Steph. I thought it was great, too, and a fun love story. The Botswana situation I thought was beautiful when they got together. Yeah. But do you think they really went after the British press more than at least the royal family in the first 3? Do you see the British press changing?
Oh my gosh, you know what? I think they have to. I think there is no excuse for racism, and this is blatant. It is obvious. I mean, it's in black and white for the world to see. Yeah. It's horrific. I don't understand, genuinely, I don't understand how those people have got away with that. I don't know which editor-in-chief of each, there's multiple publications here, not just one. How have they got their jobs, or how did they allow that to come out? It's so mind-boggling. I really feel, as a British person, in order to rectify that situation, those people need to be held accountable. There needs to be charges. They need to lose their jobs. There has to be an example set here, because there is no excuse for racism, and it's blatant. It's blatant.
I appreciate that, and I also thought it was interesting at how closely and symbiotically they work with the firm, which is what they call the British monarchy. The media and the
they play into
one another, so it's hard to hold anyone accountable at that point.
The firm was also a rap group.
The firm was also a Tom Cruise movie. John Christian.
AZ.
Can you sing a song from it?
Firm business.
Wow.
Family business, yeah.
Okay.
one of those.
Speaking of the royals, King Charles released his first Christmas card. Are we all excited? Here it is. It shows Charles and his wife Camilla, the Queen Consort, smiling and looking at him. Inside there's a simple message that says, wishing you a very happy Christmas and New Year.
By the way, just to pull the curtain back, the booth just said this needs to be a short conversation. I'm like, don't worry.
Nothing to say here.
I will say, I'm thinking about sending out Christmas cards. It's probably late.
Cute.
Is it too late to send them out?
No, it's fine. Still, I like
my first year ever.
Do it.
45 years. Do you do Christmas cards?
I hate a Christmas card.
Don't hate send me. Get one
No, I hate everything about. I don't want that on my refrigerator. I like a clean-looking house. I'm not going to hang your picture on my refrigerator.
Oh my
thank
God.
you. I don't expect anyone to hang my picture from my baby shower that I send a thank you anywhere. You could throw it out. It's just a formality. Please don't send me a Christmas card.
Is that written on the inside?
I don't like. I mean, the clutter is just like I can't. It's like I understand respectfully. You're sending. I don't want it. I'm not going to send you one to Kinsley. Please. Please don't send it to me.
I feel like that was directed at someone watching.
No, it's not. I mean,
Okay.
I just get them all the time, especially people like with them and their dog or them and their boyfriend. Like, all right, already, what is that? That's ridiculous.
Like, we got the
I understand
update.
if I want to see your kids and I haven't seen them all year because of the pandemic, but I don't want to see you just standing there. Please.
Right.
Jews don't really do it, so it's exciting to see, and then you sometimes get a whole letter or a scroll about their life. You know what I mean? And you're like, wow.
Oh, a scroll about the life?
Yeah, a lot of people write a whole story.
I feel like that's something Steph would do. Like I'd send her like a terrible card from Canva because that's what all I can, and Steph will just send a scroll.
I definitely wouldn't have a scroll. I would love to think I'm like got enough time or like energy to write people handwritten scrolls. But I mean, it's definitely not happening.
With a whole quill pen. Well, coming up on DBL, it's like a scene straight from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But this time, 13 strangers banded together to get to their destination. We were able to speak with a few of them to find out how they joined forces for one heck of a story to tell. And it happened. The White Lotus finale, and had a lot of people glued to their TVs last night. I want to know, did the show bring back appointment television? Don't worry, we got no spoilers.
It's happy holiday season time.
From our DBL family
To yours, we want to wish you
a happy holiday season.
a happy holiday season. So, thank you so much. Awful said that about her. It reminded me of Straight Outta Compton.
You can look any crazier.
What was going on with your belt?
I guess they put it up here for me to
It
wear.
fell in the middle of
but
our
I heard
conversation.
It fall, and I thought it was my mic pack, but I was like, I can still hear. It was
What?
just an.
Why
I
is it?
saw it. I was wondering why it's not on.
Yeah, why isn't this on?
I didn't know it was on my chair.
Does this
Did
go with
someone
your
drop
outfit?
it for you to say, hey, put it on
Yeah,
today?
put it on.
Yeah, I will. I'm not gonna put it on camera.
By the way, can you show the plaid pants? How cool are these pants?
Is there any way
Look
to?
how cool these
I have a
pants
suit like
are.
that, and I always wonder, can you
Oh,
wear
you-
it on screen? Like the jacket, or is it
I
get
think
goes a bit fuzzy?
It would Moray, I think. Yeah.
It's so nice.
This would because the way that the houndstooth kind of blends.
It looks so good.
We're speaking of moraying. It's a TV term where things kind of get out of focus a little bit. So like checkered patterns or like black and white sometimes. So that's why they're saying like we don't know if we could wear it on TV. But that's just your little fashion tips from the network here. Yeah.
Eel. The moray eel.
Or my auntie.
Yeah, no, never.
Just kidding.
Matter of fact, it's super weird. When I did my
That's funny.
when I did my 30-minute special for Comedy Central, I had a shirt picked out, and like when it was in Columbus Circle in New York, and I would say an hour before the show, they're like, "Oh, that's not gonna go on camera." I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm already having a panic attack all day, and I was like in the Gap, like I had to be on TV and like.
What did you do?
I got like
I don't need a Christmas card.
brown awful sweater. I panicked at elbow patches.
Oh, that's
I'm in
not
New York
bad.
every other month. Like,
You're like a professor of comedy.
Yes,
It's
in
very
front,
much like I
in front of a
haven't seen
fireplace,
you.
trying to figure out what is funny.
I'm not mad if you want to send it.
LOL
I
question.
think
Elbow patches immediately make you think you're in a Vermont small town college and you have good
you have to have a
professor
smoking
hours. You know what I mean? Where's the mistletoe in this? Like,
Are you guys insane?
We missed Snoop on the loop
I
or
didn't
whatever.
see that. I'm definitely.
We didn't see the elf on the shelf. Thank you, Rob.
Yes.
Great job.
You thought Rob just wanted to show you the
Rob
lighting?
was just staring into space when we
Me
came
too.
back. Like,
Oh, man.
Good shot.
That was a good shot.
I got it, Rob.
You know, speaking of good camera work, The White Lotus. Nice transition. It wrapped up its second season last night. Don't worry, we will not be giving any spoilers away, but the HBO show has been racking up, get this, nearly 10 million viewers per episode. Here's the thing, each episode, though, airs once a week, which some say is bringing back that appointment TV where everyone is watching at the same time. HBO does make a point of airing shows like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, one episode at a time, bless you, rather than releasing the show all at once. I fight with myself in here because I am a deep, deep binger. Like hours deep.
I feel like you should be in front of a meeting group saying that.
My name is Tori, and I binge hard.
I don't like the binging.
But I appreciated this. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm not a fan of the binging because I feel like that's just a cute word for I watch TV for 8 hours in a row. Like, it's like borderline depression
Stop,
time.
Al.
If you have on sweatpants,
attacked.
it's a wrap.
I feel attacked.
So, and I'm not making fun of depression. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that that's a great thing to consume. And I think appointment television, and whether it was, the Game of Thrones, whatever it is, we are always looking for a reason to connect with each other. I mean, we're not TV analysts. We just want to be like, did you see that? What do you think that guy is? Do you think she's cheating on? Like, that's what we need, and this has given us a show to do that because I think we're just always looking for something. Sports usually fills this for people as well, a reason to just talk to each other because why else would you? We have apps for everything. You don't need to talk to people anymore.
Now, I love having to wait. I love it because otherwise you watch it. I watched Wednesday Addams really quickly. I think I was coming back down from like Vale or somewhere and I had way too long sat in traffic and I was like binge watching everything and I was like, oh, it's over. I love it being Sunday night and having the White Lotus to watch. It's so sad, but so true. And I was so petrified that someone in the studio was going to ruin the end season for me that I got up at literally ridiculous time this morning to sit and watch it before I came to I was so afraid. I was like, this is going to ruin it. It's going to ruin it.
We wouldn't do you like that. But I do know what you mean. I have to say, when I binge Linz, which is a great name, Binge Linz.
Yeah, I was about to say, should I be Binge Linz?
Yeah, I forget it doesn't sit, it doesn't go in. I just watch it and forget.
Yes.
But if I don't binge it, I'll remember it like it's like To Kill a Mockingbird, you know?
Right.
Great job, Tori.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, timely reference in the words of Al. So I was watching all of them at the time they aired on Sundays, and then I was out of town for like 2 weeks, so then I watched both of them last night, and then I was like, I must watch it. So I did both in the season. Like, it was kind of a binge earlier in the day, and then it was like, okay, I got to sit down. And then I was getting upset that it wasn't 9 yet, or whatever time it comes out. I was like refreshing HBO, like, can it be 9 East Coast, or like, what's the thing going on?
You were refreshing.
So I like literally, I enjoyed that I had to wait, but I also like to catch up like immediately.
Right. There's gratification to it, but I think it's better if you wait. I think it gives more drama to it.
Yeah, it's more suspenseful.
Yeah.
I will say, in defense of binging, after I just attacked it, after you watch it the first time, when you do binge the second time and you watch them all back to back, especially if there's like Easter eggs in there and you don't have to wait that week, you'll be like, you see the connection from episode to episode, and it's really kind of cool like that.
It's very cool. It's more cohesive.
There we go. Nice word.
Great word. All right.
You said that.
I know. Thank you. The White Lotus also picked up 4 Golden Globe nominations, which were announced earlier today. Did we get any?
No.
Okay. The smash hit of the summer, Top Gun Maverick, picked up 2 noms for Best Motion Picture and Best Song for Lady Gaga's Hold My Hand, which I love. Another blockbuster, Avatar, The Way of the Water. Boo! It comes out in theaters this Friday.
Why boo?
It's somehow already nominated for Best Motion Picture and Best Director for James Cameron. And Elvis scored some love with 3 noms. Brendan Fraser, which I found out is his name, you pronounce it like Razor, got a nod for his performance in The Whale, but he already said he won't be attending because of his claims that he was groped and assaulted by the former Hollywood Foreign Press Association president back in 2003. Now, the Globes will be airing back on TV this year after NBC literally pulled the show last year. It was over the lack of diversity within the HFPA. Now it says that it has 104 new members, with more than half being racially and ethnically diverse. Will we watch?
104 is a lot of people.
So much.
They added that?
I thought they only had like 80 total.
That's a lot of people on a Zoom
Well, maybe
call.
they've like scrapped everyone, cleared out all the dead weight, and they're bringing in the fresh blood.
The fresh blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
so maybe that's what we need.
That's what I thought too.
Added.
It's a lot of people.
Well, it's a lot of diversity now.
Yeah. Is this
this is a good thing. We're making fun, but yeah, it's a good thing. It just seems like, honestly, a lot of people.
Yeah, do you think it's, would you watch?
No, we want to talk about your hatred of Avatar. Let's talk about
Yeah, where's it coming? You've not even seen it yet.
It is an overproduced, overexposed, not invested. Talk about non-emotionally invested. I didn't invest in any one of those characters. It is too loud, too big. It has no heart. He's lost the heart that will go on. That's what James Cameron has done.
I think it's because it's a lot of water, and Tori's petrified of water animals, and it's very underwater. So I think subliminally, you're just like blocking it out.
I think she might have dug deep in a hit.
None of that is true.
Yeah.
None of that is true.
That sounded very accurate.
None of that is true. I just don't like flying things in my face all the time when I don't understand.
Don't you like Game of Thrones? Don't they have dragons?
Yeah, because there's a story. This had no story. There's no heart. There's no soul. It's just
Pandora, the story, the people.
Tell me, that story was based on indigenous people.
Yeah, and did you remember it and have heart to it?
Yeah.
It was years ago.
We'll be right back.
Cool people.
I don't like underwater animals. It's true.
This is Google Flights taking a look at the Friday before Christmas to the Monday after. From Charlotte to Miami, the average price for a round trip is close to about $500. Then traveling to Cleveland, Ohio, around $600. And Denver, the average price is about $350. You can see the prices are high for these trips. So what's the best time to take that getaway? Our source is Scott Keys, chief flight expert with Scott's Cheap Flights and Major Airlines.
Around January 7th or so, it flips virtually overnight from the most expensive time of the year to travel to the cheapest 2 months of the entire year for travel, and that's January and February.
Keys says flights can drop nearly 80% in January and February compared to December. So let's compare some flights. American, Delta, and Southwest are showing a round trip to Miami December 22nd to December 26th is around $500 to $600. Comparing that to January 19th to the 23rd, it's about $100 to $200 cheaper for the same round trip. And there are even better deals to other locations.
Flights to Denver out of Charlotte over New Year's, currently $586 round trip on a full service airline. That same flight just 3 weeks later in mid-January, $161 round trip.
Key says there are several reasons why January and February are the best months.
You've got so many families, students, teachers who really can't travel during those months because the academic calendar. And you've just got a lot of folks who maybe aren't thinking about travel because they just took a trip over the winter holiday.
So if you want to put that holiday trip on hold, January and February are your best bet. With your Verify Fact Check, I'm Megan Bragg.
Welcome back. You may remember a story we talked about last week that sounded like a scene out of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles about a group of strangers who rented a van and drove from Orlando to Knoxville after a canceled flight. Al was not having it. Well, we sat down with 3 of those passengers from that legendary carpool, Elena, Michelle, and Amy. Check this out.
So me and a bunch of strangers in my family, we decided to rent a 15-passenger van and ride back 8 hours to Tennessee. So meet the gang.
My name is Lexi.
My name's
Robin.
My name's Q. My name is Seth.
Hi, I'm Adolf.
Hi, I'm Johan.
Hi, I'm Amy.
Laura, Carlos, Michaela.
I'm the farm babe.
I'm Renee. Hi, my name's Kelly Young, and we are having a road trip to Knoxville for 10 hours. Can't wait.
Man, I love this story too. Frontier canceled your flight, and the next one wasn't for 48 hours. So whose idea was it to rent the 15-passenger van and assemble the group?
I do know that Michelle and Amy kind of pitched the idea to the Frontier desk. And at the same time, my mom and Carlos and his family were having the conversation as well. My mom actually rented like something for us to go back in, but then everyone kind of heard everyone talking about it. So it was kind of a collective.
All right, now we're going to get into this because when we talked about this story yesterday, I could not believe that you guys were going to get into a van with a bunch of strangers.
You were a hater.
For 10 hours. Yes, I wasn't a hater. I was like, I don't know how y'all did that. I wouldn't have done that. So Michelle, talk to me and talk to our audience. Tell us who was in the crew and was anybody as nervous as I would have been?
You know, it was funny you mentioned that because as we were walking, there were these two guys I was talking to that clearly were European, and their names were Johan and Adolf. And so I was like, where are you guys from? And I was expecting them to say like Denmark or something, you know, and instead they go, Mexico. And I was like, oh, great, they're already lying to me. So for a second, I was like, yeah, okay, this isn't getting off to a good start. But it was funny because then they were like, no, really, we're farmers in Mexico. And then it come to find out we were going to the same conference. So I was a keynote speaker for this agriculture aviation event, and so we were going to the same place. So then I was like, oh, these are my people. These are farmers.
Oh, you're
and
the
as we got
farm
to
babe.
talking,
It's amazing.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm like a public speaker advocate for farmers. But the more we got to know each other, we were all different, but we all just got along really well, and it just worked out.
Amy, you just arrived home in Mexico after days of traveling. How has this experience been? Has it been what we picture, like really uplifting, or are you like, I needed space?
At this point, I'm just really happy to be home on Cozumel. We crossed yesterday at one of the most dangerous border sites to cross in all of Mexico.
Oh, wow.
And it's just been one thing after the other with flights and dogs. And literally, I've done trains, planes, and automobiles. I literally have. But bonding with these people, these 13 people I didn't even know, was just amazing because we all just gelled. Nobody was like, turn off the music, or nobody was like, I need this or I need that. Everybody just gelled. We had one thing to do and we got it done.
That's amazing.
So I'm curious, when you were doing this, did you know it would get this much attention? And why do you believe that people are so fascinated by this story? And I want to hear from all of you on this. Amy, you can go first.
I really had no idea. I was like, somebody should do a TikTok or YouTube or something because this would be funny to watch. And then as I was watching it and I was reading the comments as Carlos was driving, the comments just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And after a while, it was 3.2 million people had viewed our little video. And I was like, whoa, I didn't even know TikTok did that. It's uplifting. It's really great. I think it's great that people can come together like that, and we need to hear some good news in our world.
Yeah, I think it resonated with people because you guys in that van it got to what we aspire to be as a country, like a bunch of people that don't look like they belong together, but you gelled together and found commonality, and I think that's what resonated with people. So I have to ask you guys this. First of all, who was in charge of the radio? Like, whose playlist were we listening to?
We actually didn't listen to much music. We were too busy talking about our TikTok.
There you go. Check those numbers.
Yeah, I think the comment section was the most fun. Like, we were just laughing and like just restoring our faith in humanity because people just loved it. And everybody was like, we need an update. And people could relate to different characters and they all wanted an update because people were like picking their favorites and like creating their own storyline. It was so funny.
I really feel like it should be picked up as a reality show with these 13 people.
Yes.
Don't you?
I'm here for it.
Yeah. Let's talk pitching after the show. All right. Thank you so much, Michelle, Elena, and Amy. To our viewers, if you want to recap on the van's journey, you can always find Elena's TikTok at ElenaStory21. We'll be right back. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, guys. You were awesome.
Thank you.
Scammers are up to their old tricks with some updated tactics for the holidays to separate you from your money and personal information. So we're going to show you how to spot some of the most common scams using these sources. First up, you'll want to use caution when doing your shopping online. Scammers sometimes set up fake sites that look like real businesses to steal your information or convince you to download malicious software. Here's an example of a scam shopping website that we created. It may even imitate a brand you recognize. How can you know it's a scam? First, check the URL and make sure it's spelled correctly. Then, make sure you end up on a secured website, which is indicated by a lock icon to the left of the URL. Next, be suspicious of unusually low prices. Scammers hope you'll ignore any concerns you have about the site to save a few bucks. And finally, be careful if the site requires you to unexpectedly download software or asks for too much personal information, like your social security number. Scammers also know we're doing a lot of online holiday shopping, so watch out for fake shipment notifications. These are usually phishing emails or texts with links that may allow someone to access your personal information or ask you for money to release a shipment that really doesn't exist. Here's one example that was sent to us by a verified viewer where a scammer claims their package can't be shipped because of a mistake in their zip code. It asks for some personal information and later a redelivery fee. So how do we know this is a scam? First, the link in the text message does not go to USPS's official website, which is a big red flag. Next, the Postal Inspection Service says if you never signed up for a USPS tracking request for a specific package, then don't click the link. Carriers leave an official notice in your mailbox when they can't deliver a package. The USPS also doesn't charge a fee for redeliveries. If you're not sure if a tracking message is real, try taking the tracking number provided and doing a search for it on the Postal Service's or other carriers' website. Finally, if you're ever unsure about a suspicious message, contact the retailer directly using a trusted method like their official phone number, email address, or chat feature, and not using the information in the email or text. You can also report scam messages to your state's Consumer Protection Office or the Federal Trade Commission. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
What could cause the end of these lower gas prices? Let's connect the dots. The cost of a gallon of regular gas has taken a nosedive after peaking at $5 over the summer. That record high came as we were all dealing with decades-high inflation. Now, falling energy prices could continue to help ease consumer inflation. But AAA says there are a couple of bumps in the road ahead. OPEC, an organization of oil-producing nations, is sticking with its plan to cut crude oil production next year. That could limit global supply. Russia could also slash production after Europe's oil embargo and price cap. That could also reduce supplies across the world. And China's harsh COVID lockdowns have kept many of its residents off the roads. As those restrictions are eased and more people in China travel freely, demand may go up, and that could translate to higher prices for all of us. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Welcome back. Want to have whiter teeth but don't want to deal with the messy strips or sensitivity that comes with it? Well, you're in luck. The brand that brought you Power Whitening Gel has created new Smile Actives Pro Whitening Gel with 33% greater whitening power. Effective tooth whitening can be achieved at home by simply adding the Pro Whitening Gel to the toothpaste every time you brush. No change to your routine, no extra time, no effort is needed. In a clinical study, users had an average 8-shade improvement after using the gel for 30 days. Smile Actives is safe and effective and will even work on crowns, bonding, and dentures. Order today for a special buy one, get one free offer. Don't wait to get your brighter, whiter smile. Sorry, I slipped. Call 1-800-700-4040 or visit smileactives.com. A lot of people are writing in, yes, Tori did just put lipstick on. I looked like I was asleep before. And second, people said, Just Me said, if you watch the Avatar special feature docuseries, you'll have a greater appreciation on how groundbreaking those special effects are. And I say, I saw Jurassic Park. That was CGI, but
dinosaurs
it had heart.
were real.
It had heart.
Dinosaurs were real.
I can't.